All right, hello everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Cody. I'm the founder of Hemp for Humanity, an organization with the goal to take the hemp ag waste from our farms to the frames of your houses in order to develop a carbon negative, accessible, and healthy housing solution. So it was actually 2019 when I thought of the idea for Hemp for Humanity. I was starting my senior research on bioplastics, and what I realized while studying plastics is that almost everything that we use on a daily basis is made primarily from one thing: carbon. And whether we're drilling 5,000 feet below sea level or chopping down our forest, ultimately that carbon comes from the ground. And at the same time I was coming to this realization, I was witnessing a pandemic expose our overextended supply chains. Housing prices were soaring. We were short almost 200,000 units, and the topsoil we depend on was degrading under our feet at 25 million acres per year. Not to mention the two industries that we rely on for food and shelter were accounting for over half of our global CO2 emissions. So I thought, man, there has to be a better way to produce these things we need. Then, as if out of a script, in that same year, one of the most cellulose abundant crops known to man came out of Prohibition for the first time in 80 years, hemp. We struck a new kind of oil. And so the idea was born to create a business that could supply carbon negative biomass for everyday products like papers, plastics, and fuel, and then use the ag waste from that production to create a solution to the affordable housing crisis. So in 2020, I graduated school, I got a job, and started growing hemp on 5 acres. Fast forward 4 years later, I quit that job, and now I'm growing hemp on 30 acres for a Mars Wrigley food grade paper pilot. So right now my main responsibility is to grow, harvest, and shred this hemp, which we then sell to our partners here to make the finished product. But paper, like many other hemp biomaterials, uses primarily and mostly the part of the plant called the fiber, outer bast fiber, which means there's a significant amount of the stalk that goes unused. So with a little processing and infrastructure on my farm, we could take this waste material and produce up to 6 prefabricated carbon negative houses off of just 30 acres. So after planting this year, I started building our first prototype tiny hemp home to test out this farm to frame model. So how does hemp work as a building material? In our case, we take that unused part of the stalk, mix it with a binder and some water, and it forms a non-toxic wall insulation material called hempcrete, which is actually extremely high performing. It boasts metrics like being mold-proof, fire-proof, non-toxic, sound dampening, carbon sequestering, and highly efficient at regulating temperature and humidity. So we can take this hempcrete, we can form it into panels, into blocks to create building envelopes that are 30% more energy efficient. And so my job with Hemp for Humanity is to deliver these high-performance buildings in a way that can fill the gaps in our housing supply, talking about missing middle and low-income housing. And the way that we do that is by one, using agricultural production waste at the cost of production, and also through integrating deconstruction waste up to 25% in our builds through our partnerships with ASW Detroit and Bay Area Recycling for Charities. So after we sell that first prototype house, we plan to roll out these 4 models. And right now with the equipment that we have, we can process about 100 acres of hemp in a year. And from that hemp, we could build possibly 15 to 20 homes of these. And here's how our panel kit costs go down. So overall, there's a lot of changes happening in the construction industry to meet the rising awareness and demand from homeowners, as well as to meet the global initiative to decarbonize our buildings by 2050, which is emphasized in the Inflation Reduction Act and our own Michigan Healthy Climate Plan. And over the US, the green building industry is projected to double in size, and we're here to answer that call. Here's a map of the processors across the US that can process and sell industrial hemp fiber. So far, we're the first in Michigan to be doing so. So we're looking to secure some investment to up our production, scale up this model to up to 600 acres, which we could then build 120 to 200 homes and overall result in a net profit of $1,300 per acre for our farm. So overall, there's a new demand for the way we do things. There's a new demand in our agriculture, in our building systems, and in our relationship to the environment. So we're seeking this investment to change those things and localize our supply chains back to our small towns that can now be built in a way that connects the dots between the health of our environment and the health of our society. And we're also seeking partners in development to mobilize these solutions. Thank you.